on where you study. It's just you have to have a higher education degree.
And still, people who are willing to go abroad are little less, they don't want to go to UK. More than that, to Canada, US for obvious reasons, Canada for the liberal policy of immigration, and then some part of Australia. Melbourne, of course, they've closed.
Australia used to be a market till about 5 years ago, but it has seen a steep decline because the job market is almost at saturation in Australia now. So while they were immigrating in large numbers back then, it has gone down in recent years.
It also depends upon the degree that you are aiming at.
Definitely.
For example, an undergrad is different from a postgrad or whatever. That also is a point.
I'll thank all my esteemed panelists and thank you for your insights and views. And I had a lovely time, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Aarti. May I request the panelists to kindly be seated just for 2 minutes? And there's one point that I would just like to share also, that none of the schools, and specifically if I say none, but at least few of the schools might be following up what we call the credit system abroad. So please excuse my ignorance, but what I could understand was my brother-in-law could not go because he didn't have the fixed amount of credit points as per the Indian education system. So he had to do those extra courses and then apply. So I think if schools can provide that.
Ma'am, that's what we call academic profiling, where we discuss all the standardized tests that you will need to take. And co-curricular profiling has to do with the kind of extracurriculars you should do according to your target country.
So I thought this point needs to be
that's
done.
part of counseling.
And exchange programs add an international dimension to the application. So children who are already keen upon going abroad for an undergrad indulge more into exchange programs because they are already working on their program.
Correct. So that awareness has to come in, and I think it should become a part of the parents' orientation program when the session begins.
But like Sir said, starting early, 9th is actually the point from which your grades start being considered when you are applying internationally. So to get someone into your school, to give that information to students in 9th and 10th, sort of get them
An early
profiling.
start.
We would call it profiling, you call it a roadmap, but that's precisely what's needed. They need to know the requirements because they need to do work which is not part of the Indian curriculum. Volunteering and social service and all that, we don't do it in general in schools. But if students are aware that this is something which gives them extra credit when applying internationally, they have time to do it rather than trying to rush once they're in 12th, where they have pre-codes and everything in place. Yeah, so IB and Cambridge has sort of these elements built into their curriculum. Indian boards don't. So that's why those students specifically need to be made aware of it early enough. Because to try and do it in like 6 months, it can be done, but it's almost torturous to the child. You're putting too much pressure on them. And as a counselor, it's not something that, we can work to prevent it, right? We're here to discuss how to get a better environment.
So I think we all agree that awareness is what is the need of the hour. May it be about any topic, any field, or anything, we should keep making people aware. So thank you so much, Aarti, and thank you so much, the esteemed panel here. And so now to felicitate them, may I call upon Mr. Amit Singla, CEO, Next Gen, on the stage to kindly come and do the honors. And we are going to kind of break the monotony. I'm going to start with the only gentleman here in the panel. So I think we'll have to do the reshuffling of the certificate, which is completely okay. Okay, so may I now call upon Mr. Deepak Sharma, Director of Woods International School, Udaipur. Next we have Rita Taneja ma'am, Principal, Delhi Public School, Jaipur. Ms. Karuna Suresh ma'am, Principal, Consultant, Central Academy Group of Schools, Jaipur. Ms. Kamaljeet Yadav, Principal, Subodh Public School, Jaipur. Ms. Shifani Charan, Principal, Asian World School, Jaipur. And last but definitely not the least, and I think the youngest moderator that would you have for the day. So we have Ms. Aarti Tang, Senior Consultant, Unireliance. Thank you so much. Aarti, thank you so much to the complete panel. Thank you so much.
Just a minute. May I have your attention, please? All the ladies who are wearing a picture. If there's a picture missing, somebody's picture.
Vaishnav ma'am, I thought you were saying for your attention, please there's tea somewhere in the vicinity.
What's Ari? It's on the way.
It's on the way.
Thank you.
So as we prepare for our next panel discussion, we have a video by Unireliance. Kindly play that video for the audience.
According to my dreams to start my salary with a scholarship of $60,000 per year. I also got into Flexing University with a scholarship of €40,000 per year. I would like to thank Union for their guidance throughout the college application. Been wonderful so far. And if you plan on studying abroad, I strongly recommend that you go with that.
What I like about Unili is that they essentially have mentors at every single university that I apply to, so it's very easy to make my application very specific and very tailored to each university.
What I loved about Unili was that they had a lot of free resources on their websites, like free advising sessions, free university list calculators, and a question and answer platform where you could ask really personalized questions. We always got answers back.
I liked that I did not just have one overall counselor, but that I had a specific mentor from every university I was applying to, which helped me specialize my application to the schools.
The mentors at Unili actually went over my applications, edited my essays, and made my application really strong. They tried to build on my strengths instead of making me feel bad about things like my SAT score or whatever. They really concentrated on my strengths instead of building on my weaknesses.
At Unili, it was really just a team effort to kind of put together my entire application. We had one person who was keeping track of me and making sure my progress was on point. And then we had individual mentors from each university kind of checking over my application and personalizing it and making it very specific.
Untitled was definitely very helpful. They helped me all throughout my application. They gave me inside information on the schools I was applying to. I got to speak with people from the schools I was applying to, so I got way more information than I would with the council.
With this, we come to the last panel discussion, rethinking early education. Well, it is a topic that is very close to my heart, as I have worked with these tiny thoughts, and thanks to the NEP for highlighting the importance of early education. And being worked as a principal with Army pre-primary schools, I find that the sky is not the limit when it comes to earlier education. So to discuss this further, may I call upon Ms. Rama Mahuri, Content Head Next Education, as the moderator for this session. Joining her, we have Dr. Vasudha Neelmani, Principal, Rockport International, Udaipur. Mr. Hardeep Bakshi, CEO, Seedling Group of Schools, Udaipur. Mrs. Tapti Chatterjee, Executive Director, Modern Public School, Bhiwadi and Noida. Dr. Sapna Agarwal, Director, VKV Edge Academy, Kota. Dr. Neeru Pathak, Principal, Delhi Public School, Ajmer. Indira Singh, Principal, Vivek Techno School, Jaipur. And again, just a reminder, we will stick to the 3 minutes timing and try to finish it within 40 minutes if that is possible. So let's say I am possible. So over to you, ma'am.
Pooja, whenever you say this, I'm okay with you. I don't look at you whenever you say this.
Thank you. Very good afternoon. Good afternoon and all here. So I think in the morning we had sessions all about K-12 education, and now this is a very small session, and I think we've been sitting for a long time. I think should we start with a quick energizer? Yeah, I think that's better. Can I request all of you to please stand up? So I want all of us to go back to our pre-primary classes. So let's do Simon Says.
Yes. I think you all know Simon Says, right? So if I say Simon Says and give you an instruction, you will follow it. My instruction without Simon Says will not, right? So if I say Simon Says, clap your hands, you will do it. If I say touch your shoulders, you will not do it because Simon Says is not added to my instruction, right? So very quickly, quick energizer, right? Simon Says, clap your hands. Touch your knees. Simon Says, snap your fingers. Simon Says, turn around. Simon Says, jog on the spot. Simon Says, stand up. Simon Says, hands up. Simon Says, hands down. Simon Says, hands in your back. Simon Says, hold your hands. Simon Says, please stop. Simon Says, have a cup of tea. Simon is not listening. Simon is not listening. I don't know. Simon
Are you with me? Are you all with me? If you're with me, clap once. You're not with me. You're not with me. You said you're clapping many times. I said clap once. If you're with me, clap twice. If you're with me, clap thrice. Should we start?
Yes.
I think this is what is early years education. So I think there's a lot of noise and a lot of research that's happening, around and education of early years. And now with NEP 2020, we want to rethink about early years education. So I don't want to waste time, talking about early years education, and we're all to it. So we'll start with Sir. So I want you to throw light in terms of how earlier education affected because of pandemic. So what are your thoughts and what do you think should have been, or going forward, how can we actually bring back our early years education into streamline?
To begin with, they have been the underdogs. She's been pushed to the end of the session, and then she told us only 1 minute each, right? And said if you speak more than that, then the mic will be disconnected. So that's what's happening in early education as well. All right, they've been pushed to the edge. Okay, and unfortunately, then I realized, I said, why was given this discussion at end of the session? Now I realized the reason. So the reason for that. Unfortunately, it's a fact that early education means early years 3 to 6, right? They are the formative years for child's education. Even Cambridge has started that early education. This is a term coined by Jean Piaget. That's the name I get it right. It's a pre-operational. Find the word pre-operational. It means that when students or kids use sign languages to demonstrate the verb, or he's not lying. He's just, imagining something. It's like a storytelling session on him, and he's trying to say what he wants. But we as adults don't realize that, and we say the kid is lying, whereas he's not lying. Early education has taken a backseat because, like we all schools over here, in every nook and corner, there's a nursery school opened up, right? Now, when parents come to my school, I'm sure you people also have the same problem. They say that, why are you charging this amount? That school is just charging that much. First of all, my school took 40 years to come later. Okay, that school is just 2 years or 5 years old. I'm charging, let's say, $6,000 and he's charging 6,000. That's the difference. Why? Because I've invested in that 40 years. I've invested in those teachers. I've invested in myself to grow and to be where I am today. But what happens, unfortunately, parents don't understand that. For them, it's ABCD, 1, 2, 3, 4, nothing more than that. Unfortunately, it's a stop-up arrangement. Why? Because क्या करना है? चलो teacher बन जाते हैं. Why? Because so many holidays, so many perks, less timing, no shouting kids, and nothing is the issue. That's the problem with the early education. The moment we start having trained people, the moment we restrict that, yes, there has to be a curriculum, there has to be syllabi for this, the teachers have to be trained. And the sad part is, I'm talking about my own school. I tell the teachers, I feel bad when I have to pay more to the teacher teaching 11, 12 than to the teacher teaching nursery school. Because they are the ones who are putting so much effort, holding the child's hand, making him recognize the words, scribbling with him. It's so difficult and they're the most underpaid. And that's the reason that early education has not reached the height it should in our country. Whereas in places like Finland is a role model for the world, basically. I think the person was John Dewey, if not mistaken. The model was educare. What does that mean? Teaching children, education, teaching them, caring about them, okay, and molding them. But in our country, it's not that way. It is okay, when school is open, let's go and teach over there. Like Neetu said right now, only it should be by choice, okay, not as a profession that you're going to earn money. And because they don't get good money, so they're not bothered for the children. As a matter of fact, what she started, the exercise shooting, salmon and all that, that's the way a teacher should be in nursery school. She has to be playful. She has to be involved with the children. Only then would the children love her. Now the question she asked was pandemic. See, it was very difficult for all of us, especially the smaller children, because so many kids did not come to school. And for the teacher sitting on this side of the screen, the small kids sitting on that side of the screen, how to have a rapport with the teacher is very difficult. That rapport plus that feeling of a child coming to school was not there. So many parents did not make the children study a year because they wanted to save on the money. Like Mr. Gupta said, paisa nahi aa raha. He said, hum paisa nahi denge schoolon ko. So they did not pay the money. Now the poor kid has wasted 1 year. That's a very formative and important year for the child. The parents thought, okay, let me save a few $1,000, but that has made all the difference. I tell the parents, you don't come to my school, go to any school you want to go to. But please select a school which has nursery till grade 12, because school open the syllabi from 12 till nursery. Other primary school, the schools are mushroom all over. What they do, they just want that they get admission in good schools. So they just push the children to study. They'll make them cram up, and the parents come and tell me, see, my child knows the capital, my child knows the colors, he knows where Saturn is, which I came to know in class 8, I think, the planets, and kids then prep and, they brag about themselves, But that's absolutely wrong. Are you teaching a child? No. You're making him do rote learning. Like, I think who mentioned morning, Pratima ma'am, that education and literacy are two different things. We might be literate, but we have to be educated, and you do that to others as well. A small thing, small example, how I tell my teacher, like in the morning, I was telling Pratima ma'am that it's cold, I asked the guy to, increase the temperature. So she's saying, yes, there's a thermostat right over here. She's joking with me. I said, you're absolutely right. In summers, I can fry an egg also on my head, So the thing is that a teacher has to get all the children. But when he pretends that I'm a teacher, so what? To get down that level of teaching a small child, you have to be involved with the child, you have to role play with the child. If that comes in us as teachers, and believe me, that can only come, it starts from the management. The management is very strict about the fact that the teacher has to be involved with the children. And if the leader, I as a male, I don't feel shy to enter the class and sing a song with the children or dance with the children, because that's what I learned from mother. And The big example is Tu and Aruna Suresh. They were both in schooling for so many years. My mother just passed away a month back. But I learned from her, she never hesitated. I used to feel embarrassed at times, the whole assembly, she used to start dancing.
The whole city of Jaipur learned from your mother.
Yeah, and I was still learning.
Remember
So,
Ranjana Joshi?
yes, Ranjana Delhi, yeah, exactly. So, for a teacher to be a good nursery school teacher, she has to do all these things, just forego all her inhibitions and just come to the grassroots level. Believe me, it'll be wonderful. There's no stopping. And yes, we need to start paying not beginners to teachers because they really put in effort. And I think because of those teachers, we have good kids who come to the high level. I always tell this to my teachers that you're the best lot. So we really need to appreciate them. And definitely pandemic time was difficult for everyone. We learned a lot. Yes, one more thing, the teachers, had to do manifold multitasking the teachers, definitely, because of this pandemic. And I realized over the period of time, they have evolved. And so I see a shift in the education system as well. It's shifting to the betterment. So yes, in a way, pandemic has helped us. We had gadgets beforehand, but we were just procrastinating that we should get involved in this. It's a big botheration. But yes, you all learned, and it's been a very good journey. And my 3 minutes are up now. Thank you so much.
And the pre-primary strength was the lowest in all the schools during this pandemic times. Because, of course, my fellow principal had pointed out that there is a huge difference between the physical classrooms and that personal touch of the teachers and what the digital mode provides to the students. And that is right, especially in the pre-primary. Totally agree with you, sir. You really nailed it. All aspects, right from teachers to online classes. So, thank you so much, Madam. On the current beliefs and policies and practices in early education, what need to be rethought of according to you? Existing practices. Thank you for the question. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm not a good speaker on a mic, but I'm a good speaker in front of the audience without a mic. That has made me take up a time that why can't I speak in front of mic? By keeping a mic in front of me, I'm not able to express myself as well as I can stand in the ground and command 200 of the people, 200 people to work in a one direction. That has come to me from my early education only. If early education, what was it? What we are doing with our students, those who are in class 6 to 8, or those who come from nursery to class 8 standard. That is the time when the mind is developing, our brain is coming up and taking everything as a child. So as a child, when I came on stage to say a thought for the day, this is one example which I had, and it has given me a fear of the mic only. To overcome that, I have always removed the mic from me. But I will repeat that thought for the day. It was a very simple thought in Hindi. My teacher asked me to say a thought कि हाथों की शोभा कंगन से नहीं दान से होती है. In front of the whole assembly, I said the same thing. But when I say पुनः विचार कीजिए, हाथों की शोभा दान से नहीं कंगन से होती है. I was very confident that I have come up with a thought for the day in front of my whole school, and everyone is there standing. But the Hindi teacher called me and told me the mistake which I have made. And I decided not to be there again on the stage. That given me a pinch over there. So what are the beliefs we are having? We are having a belief that a child is able to speak well, is intelligent. We are having a belief that he is able to write more, is a brilliant child. The one child who is smarter and able to put the words in the notebook and come up with the results is a bright child. But we never think what the child is thinking at that stage about the teacher. So first we have to change our belief and the practices which we are doing in our school. So today when I got this topic, I felt I should come up with from my heart. Like when a child was interviewed for the class 1, coming from nursery, LKG, UKG, it's from a different school, and class 1 admission was to be done in the private school. The principal asked, "Can you see this picture? What this girl is doing?" The child did not answer. She was one of my niece. I asked her, "Why did you answer? I have taught you that these are the questions are going to be asked from you to get the admission in this school." She said, "I thought at that time, Masi, that why did she know that thing? She is elder than me. She is older than me. She should know the answer. I should not supposed to tell her." So that gave me again a thought. No, there should be change in early education. So our practices which we are having, the rote learning, the one who memorize, the one who repeat again is taken up at the level of our classes, nursery, LKG till class 6. So that should be stopped over there. We should take each and every child by giving a more number of parental care of our teachers to take those. Ratio should be increased now. If we are here, we should give a thought that if we have 20 kids, let us start paying more to the teacher, as sir said, so that we can change the set of mind of the students. So this was my thought, that practices which are going, we are teaching a child without the tools. We are teaching a child believing that if he is able to write, is the smarter. We have to come up with all these things. We have to give a rethought on this thing, that our curriculum should be framed in such a manner the confidence is built up in a child. The analytical thinking in a child should come out. Child should start criticizing the thing at the very early age. We should appreciate each and every set of mind of the child. That is my point, that we should rethought as educationists and as academicians, that what we are heading. Because today when I was just sitting and listening to all my mentors, I take everyone as a mentor who is very well, is able to speak very well in front mic and in the audience. So I was thinking that 75 years, we are independent, we are old. I think none of us is here older than that. So why we were not able to change our education system? Because somewhere we are bonded with the society. Like all the speakers have told, they were discussing a lot of about the things, independence. The girls are not able to move. The girls are not able to take a decision. Why this has been not changed? It's all on us only. The responsibility has shouldered to us. With us only. If I take as me as a parent, I have allowed my kid to move every direction where she wants to lead. But on every step, I have given her one challenge. Your dreams will be fulfilled. You achieve the other target. That other target is always of your mother. Your target will be fulfilled if you achieve it. Let the child learn, take the challenges. We talk about in India still that the girls or the boys or the kids are not given a freedom. They get freedom when they move out of the house, they start living somewhere else, they move abroad. I think take every city and the next door city, if it is Jaipur, take Ajmer as a abroad for your child. Allow your child to move alone when he comes over there in standard 8. Let him experience. You should believe in your child. You should give what you want to have for yourself and for your society. If you want to change a set of minds, we need to change our early education system. We need to give a rethought. Let us come out from the numeric numbers, from the words. Let us start developing the brain, and the child grows by itself. This is what I want to say, that what rethought we should give it over there. Because if the adult can go to abroad and learn Japanese, German language, French, why can't a child can do that? So as a person, I would like to say thank you everyone for listening me. And I have gained today one confidence that yes, I can be a speaker with a mic instead of being always in the playgrounds. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. and you spoke your heart, and you really spoke well.
You don't need anything extra. All you need to is you need to speak from the heart. And you were awesome. And you were awesome.
And not to discourage the child, however good or bad the child is.
That is the
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank you, Indira ma'am. My next question is for Tapti ma'am. Can you please throw us some light on the role of
Early childhood education and the senior most in the.
Great. Okay, yes. First of all, okay, namaskar, thank you. Yes, Edvent, everybody. I know that you all are sitting here with patiently because it's the last program. And just you see, we have started from morning K-12 education, abroad education, classroom transition, collaboration, now lights. So, okay, early childhood education. Planned for the child life and then gave a birth month. I mean, I have done everything and now child's birth.
No wonder sir is registering students.
Probably maybe. So I'd like to say that early childhood education, now everywhere it is now not only talk of town, maybe it's talk of India because of the NEP. But I'd like to tell you, of course, I know my minute is 1 minute, 1.5 minutes. Okay, I'd like to tell all of you these early years, that early education, we have started in 1995 in DPS Ghaziabad, Meerut Road, and I believe you all heard the name of Dr. Vinita Kaul. No, Mr. Om Pathak is the management, but Dr. Vinita Kaul is a master in early childhood education. His books are there. Her books are there. The name of early childhood education. In 1995, DPS Ghaziabad has started this early childhood education. And of course, that time I was very much part of DPS Ghaziabad and used to go to for our training to IIT Nursery Delhi. That time, IIT means IIT has adopted one nursery school, Delhi IIT, and continuous 5 years training. And after that, we have started in DPS Ghaziabad, that early childhood education. Then, of course, I have shifted to DPS Basundhara as the first headmistress of the school, implement there. Then, when I shifted to modern public school, implemented there. So, if you ask me, and at present, whatever books they are using in the school, that is written by us only. That 5 components: language development, cognitive development, motor development, aesthetic appreciation, and social emotional. But 3-4 years ago, again they have added 2 components more, that is IT and life skill. Because these all 7 components is very, very important in early years. And now, just now, I think NEP is now focusing on language, mother tongue. We don't mind when we used to give training to our teachers, we used to tell them that you please learn all the language little bit. Because I think Punjabi mein we say baja. The doors ko baja bolte hain. Is there any Punjabi? No. So when the child is coming to school first time, leaving her parents, he or she always feels very, very competition within herself, because to see the bigger ground of the school and teachers, and so our teacher used to learn a small sentences of each language, whether it is South or Bengal or Rajasthani or Haryana, because it's the border of Rajasthan and Haryana. So they usually call chori, chora, the way the parents also speak. So the teacher used to learn. And any poem, suppose Pita Pata Raindrop, All Through Fall, so you have to learn all the poem in 3-4 languages. So the child should understand. So from that time only, believe me, we have started these early years, But of course, after going through the NEP, I'm very happy. Why? Now that time also, few good school, they used to follow all these things. Now, everybody has to follow. So actually, the inner meaning of early years is going to be implemented everywhere. And that's very important because know the child's language is very important. That's totally different. And at the end, of course, I said I'll take 1 minute. Though if you ask me, that is close to my heart, early years, because that project, we usually take 6 projects in a school, myself, my family, seasons, my toys, and my hobby. Along with this project, we go for maths, science, language, and come back again, language, cognitive, motor development, social, emotional. At the end, I would like to say, respect every child's individuality. Everybody has the talent. Our duty to take out the talent. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
And mornings are Rakhi, so all the ladies must be thinking that what kind of so but thank you so much from the core of my heart. I'd like to say thank you, everybody. But looking forward more interaction in the future. First, early childhood.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Point taken.
But we are the winners anyway. The best lot.
Sapna ma'am, can you throw us some light on the foundational literacy and numeracy as per NEP?
Right. Yeah. Okay, yes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Ma'am. Right. So, thank you. Everybody has heard so much. And I've been quiet since morning, but I'm very happy that more than 90% participants over here, they recognize the effort of an educationist who just started during the pandemic, believing that this platform was not made for me. But I think it makes sense when everybody talks about the time. Thank you, Dr. Ma'am. Well, you asked me about foundational literacy and numeracy. Well, this is a buzzword because our post-national policy of education 2020 released and people talking about, so ECCE takes a lot of limelight. People start talking about it. We get a recognition. Whatsoever happened, a couple of things. Most of the schools or the schools get an opportunity to build 3 more classrooms. Believe me, pandemic is very soon going to get over. 55 crores of people have got vaccinated and children will start coming to school. It might take some more time, so let's be little positive about it. Now, so you can build 3 more classes. In case you have, you can decorate them. You can start training your teachers. Everybody talks so much about training, which is important. Now, when we say foundation literacy and numeracy, I have to speak about a couple of words. It says understanding. Children need to understand. Children need to speak a sentence of at least 30 to 35 words, which makes sense to them. Let me share a little bit of story. How FLN is the first word. How it impacts on the self-esteem of a child. How important it is. So once upon a time, there was a little girl. And this little girl was an orphan. And this orphan child was put into an orphanage. That is how it happens. And this orphanage was being looked after by some people. There was a head, without any labels, without any recognition to any religion, to anything. So I put the story across like that. And this child was growing up, and by the time the child was around 12 years of age, the giant had learned all crap. And everybody said that, stay away as far as you can. Time passed, the head of the orphanage got changed, and there was the handing taking over happened. And during the handing and taking over, the head of the same organization makes beware of this child. This child is now 14 years of age. We have only 4 more years with us. She turns 18. She goes out of this orphanage. And we are, so you just have to deal with her for 4 more years. This handing taking over happening, and the orphanage started right from the Godiwala bachas, those who were left over there. So this head of the organization decided to look into the matter. So one day, this child was walking into the corridor. Just imagine any corridor, a beautiful corridor over here. So she was walking in the corridor. A sound comes, stop, look into the mirror right in front of you. The girl hears the sound, turns back and shouts, "Who the hell is it?" No, or I am not using the words, all the words which this child used. How dare to come in front of me and just show me your face, who you are. The sound stopped. This continued for second day, third day, continuously. The moment this girl walked in the corridor, a sound used to come. He stopped. There was a life-size mirror over there, just at the end of the corridor, and the sound wanted her to stop and look into the mirror. So 27, 28 days passed, nothing happened. She always used to shout back. 2 days, the sound didn't come. The girls waited for the sound. The sound was watching. I just listen to my word. The sound was watching. After 2 days, as the girl walked into the corridor, again the sound says, "So you were missing. Stop and look at yourself in the mirror." And the girl ran away from it. And somebody is haunting. No, somebody is there looking into her. 3 more days passed. There was no sound again. And the girl again started walking in the corridor because that was a natural process. Everybody has to cross past that corridor. At this time, the sound said, "If you believe in me, just take a pause and look at yourself." And the girl took another few steps and stopped right in front of that mirror. The voice again came and said, "Look at yourself from top to bottom." The girl looked at herself from top to bottom, but she didn't wait to hear the third sentence and ran away after that. Probably she was scared to look at herself from top to bottom. The next day again she paused, the same voice came. She looked at herself top to bottom. The third sentence was, "You look at yourself top to bottom because God made no junk." And the girl broke down. She started crying. This time the voice appeared in human, and it was the head of the organization. She hugged her and said, "Can we start living with you right from 14 years ago?" And that is the importance of early childhood education. The impact which it creates on every single individual, which becomes the pillar of life, which becomes the position, the labels you hold throughout. The impact you're going to create on every single individual. Well, when we talk about, now let me make it more clarify, because you've asked me about foundational literacy and numeracy. Well, in exact terms, it talks about, the children, I'm not talking about medium, I'm talking about the language that the child learns. It could be Hindi, it could be English, it could be any other language the child picks up. The child should be able to understand it with a lot of clarity. The reading ability, by the time the child moves from Bal Vatika up to class 8 or class 5, there are different levels where the child would be assessed and evaluated. The child must be given enough scope to understand. We have also been hearing and talking about competency-based education. It starts very I've started and mulled over this NFP draft, I think, thousands of times by now. So, the CBE has to start getting implemented right from ECC. So the child decides how much time the child takes to understand something. But the child needs to understand. So there's a lot of difference. Somebody says, "मैं एक छोटा बच्चा हूँ," और वहीं पर ना child उसी को अगर हिंदी में अगर आप भाषा की तरह से देखें, म, ए, मैं, एक, the struggle which the child is finding to read, can we understand how this struggle is going to take this child further ahead? Then definitely there'll be a dropout. I have a question for everybody over here. And with this, I think I'll be concluding my deliberation as of now, unless you ask another question. We've been hearing about children going abroad, and I'm really, really happy to know about so many things about it. This conference has been an eye-opener. Of course, after pandemic, one of the first conferences, we learned so much from each other. And what is the age when the child actually starts contributing to the country's economy or the global economy? Okay, can I have an answer? Anybody?
The moment he's born.
The moment he's born, okay.
Even before the womb.
In
the womb, the moment he starts responding. In the womb itself.
In the womb, sorry, yeah.
Absolutely, right in the womb the it starts.
Contribute to the economy. Then why everybody is only talking about the job placements and higher education and the infrastructural size of the institutions? Where is the infrastructural development for the ECC organizations and the schools and the places? Do we just have to have some manipulators the panel also talks about that we do not have the right tools. Are we talking about manipulators? There are organizations, we heard from the first panel or maybe the second panel that we had not so literate but knowledgeable heads. So now, are we talking about manipulators? Are we confused? Do we need to understand and go back and think and ponder about it that, how do we educate our child? How do we teach? Are we giving a concept to a child? One could be a concept, one could be a numeric, one could be an object. There could be variety of things how we are doing. So it's very, very important for us to understand, retrain our teachers, start rethinking ourselves. Also, every single day, it is so much important for us to believe that to stop the dropout rates, to have a beautiful economic development in the nation. When we talk about, I remember a question. Some moderator asked that by 2030, where do you think the nation would be? That question has been actually banging in my head right from the morning. I said, 2030, India could be anywhere. We could be Vishwaguru, somebody said. We could be sad about that, we are not over there. But, by 2030, how many of us believe that we really start investing, rethinking, and believe in every single child, stop the dropout rates, let every child study in the language the child wants to study. It is not about the medium. It's not about English or Hindi or a regional medium. It's about the language. So foundational literacy and numeracy actually opens up the entire learning platform for all of us. I'm so very thankful. I've crossed past my 1 minute, ma'am. You're ready. You're all, allowed to pull my both ears. That's perfectly fine, I think. I congratulate you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. So, Vasudha ma'am, can you actually throw some light on empathy, curiosity, and active learning in children?
Sure. I think with the paucity of time, I would like to touch upon a topic that is very close to my heart. And taking from what Ms. Sapna said, beautiful story, Ms. Sapna. Students who are loved at home, school to learn, and students who aren't come to school to be loved. That's what the impact of empathy is on little minds. Empathy, when we talk about this word, it is not to be taught. The children need to observe this with us, with parents, with the teachers, with the principals, with everyone. And then they will realize what the other person is going through. At our all three schools, our chairperson, Mrs. Alka Sharma, has a beautiful concept of sense of belongingness and attitude of gratitude. And empathy and gratitude goes hand in hand from me. So we have this small little notebooks made for pre-primary children, which they maintain, which they make, and we talk to them empathy. Why are you sad today? Why are you happy? What happened at home? So all these things lead to this beautiful word called empathy, which actually plays a bigger role when a child grows up. Now I'm 45 years old, but I still remember my preschool teacher, my first teacher who loved me, who actually took care of me because I used to cry a lot adjusting to the school. Because when little ones are coming out of the school, out of the homes, and they're coming to school, they are very, very confused. They have that sense of detachment. They have sense of insecurity, and actually they learn what they observe. Talking quickly about curiosity and active learning. Now, if Henry Ford was not curious, work cars would have been there. If Abraham Bell had not thought about the ways of communication, telephones would. And don't kill that curiosity in the children. If they want to paint their mountains red, blue, let them do that. A rose does not have to be red always. Because I still remember this was an anecdote which I was shared when I was doing my teacher's training course, a special education course. So a child wanted to paint, a parrot of different color. But the teacher said, no, it has to be green. The mountains have to be brown in color. The sun has to be. So you killed the curiosity and the creativity of the child. Then the last, active learning. Active learning is something that is very, very integral part of Cambridge pedagogy that we talk about. It's called cycle of active learning, where a child learns through a concrete experience. He grabs that experience, does an reflective observation, goes through the active experiment. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, GSLC, for this wonderful event. And thanks a lot.
Thank you, Sharma. Thank you for making it on time. So, Neeru ma'am, I think we'll close with your question. So, professional learning is the key to high quality education. So, can you, talk about
very important.
how important? Thank you, GSC and Edvent 2.0 for giving us an opportunity and a platform to express our views, and the principals would be now desperate to end the session because that's the last one. Okay, anyways, so talking about professional learning, we are also engaging into the same task today because we are learning from each other, and it becomes extremely instrumental to give a training to a pre-primary, and they are instrumental in shaping and cementing the future of every child. That's very important because especially in my school, I take care in the recruitment of especially pre-primary teachers, and I must say that they are at the equal packages as the primary and PGDs in my school, because I have put my foot down always, because I know that they have been working so hard every single day, and they need to be productive and they need to manage all the things. Now comes to the professional learning and the reasons why they need a professional learning. First of all, is they have to indulge themselves into creative pedagogies. They have to be joyful. They have to be pictorial. They have to use Montessori aids. They have a lot to do. Unlike the other wings, of course, like when it comes to 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, the senior wing, the things are a little different because the students are calm and composed and they listen, and sometimes they correct the teachers also. They Google out before the teacher gives her lecture. But unlike this, I feel that these students are blank pages and we have to fill the colors in them. And whatever you make them learn, they learn. Because seeing the example in my school, there was one child who, there was a class of LKG, and one after the other, the student used the word won for one. I won a trophy, won a trophy. So I was thinking that what is wrong? Then I came to know that the English teacher of that class has herself, she was pronouncing the word as won, right? So though she was masters in English and all the educational qualifications as B.Ed, NTT, whatever we expect according to the bylaws, she was right, and she had a very good English. But then at the same time, her pronunciation was wrong. To stress on the syllables and word pronunciation, because the child would be actually pronouncing it all through life, in the professional life also the same what he has learned from the primary teacher. So this is where the role of the professional learning comes, and it is not through the seminars, not only by the seminars and the workshops that we conduct, but it can be brainstorming sessions, it can be by the wing in charges, it can be by the democratic leaders like us. It has to be a democratic leadership, by the way. It's very, very important to let them free and work with their own creative pedagogies. It's important. And of course, coming to the power of digital technology also, they need trainings. What we normally do in the school is, that is when the school reopens in July, we, maybe in the June, we do a demonstration session where every teacher is expected to give a lecture, irrespective of whatever wing he or she belongs to. And we mark them on the scale of pitch, expression, then like all the, yes, it's almost in all the schools. So it's a very good, it's also a professional learning. And of course, earlier the foreign exchange programs used to happen very aggressively, that these days because of the COVID-19 situation, it is not been happening. So the foreign teachers used to come here and our teachers went to the foreign countries and learn a lot of things from them, especially with the Montessori. Because I remember one incident that there was one child from USA who had come in for the admission in class 1. So the parents said that my child does not know anything in written. And our children know all the essays in Hindi, okay, on mango, on mother. And the child knew all about the star, galaxy, says that, my child knows everything, all the orals. Language is perfect, okay, and knows everything about the things that our Indian children do not, and they actually stress on the written practice. And now, thanks to the NEP, that it is now important to read first, recognition of the letters, and then it comes to writing. So I think that should be stressed now, and individually we have been stressing it earlier also. So, and of course, the industrial visits, etc., is also very important, because though the teachers were not very open to going to the bank, okay, taking the LKG, HKG children to the ATM, but I always felt that they should have an exposure of the retail sector. I used to send them to Hypercity, okay, to actually see the billing process, and actually they reciprocate extremely well. They don't have to study like a commerce student, like making FDs and everything, but yes, they should know that this is the cashier department, and here, here my father saves the money and often withdraws it, when there is a purpose. So this like we make them learn, and training the teachers for the same is extremely important. Then the teacher's attitude and behavior, because the children can grasp each and every body language of yours, especially a teacher. So her attitude should be calm and positive, and a lot of counseling sessions might be needed rather than firing them, and convincing them that yes, attitude and behavior is mandatory, because it starts from there, because you are the role model and the mentor and the guide to the children, and the children should love you, and you can win a lot of affection from them. So I feel that this is also extremely important, that you should be patient and calm with them, and listening to them is very important. And for this, at least, if not 360-degree angle change, it should be 180-degree at least in their personality. So, and one should be open to learning, because if you make them learn to implement and execute. So this implementation and execution also is like very, very important. These days, they have already known the digital technology. They are well versed with the digital technology, and somehow, but then when it came to the earlier times, they were not. But yes, the children are born with the laptops these days, and their fingers move faster than us over the smartphones. So I think that teachers should be very, very well versed with technology, and they should use all the aids that is possible to make their classes interactive and joyful. I said it very briskly because I wanted to end the session. Thank you so much for patiently listening to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. I thank all the panelists. I would to end the session, with a question to all of us. So if you have to read, what would that be in your schools, especially? So with this thought, so let's conclude the session. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you all the panelists. Will again request you to be seated for some time. We'll quickly do the felicitations. And before we do that, I just have one of my views to share, because I've also been into early education. Definitely not as much experienced as the scholars there. But I believe that if you give respect, you get respect. Even if it is an infant or an 8-year-old person, the basic formula is to not quit on any child. If you give up, you will be completely lost. And one of the panelists also mentioned that we do not need to give them access. Everything in access is definitely harmful. So you don't need to give them baby talks. You don't need to pamper them. All they need is that they need to be listened to. They just need your love and attention, and it will do all the magic. So thank you so much, everybody. So to felicitate this panel, may I request upon Mr. Anuj Ahuja, from Studybase, who's the founder and chief product officer, Studybase. So again, we shall start with the gentleman in the crowd, the lucky one again. Mr. Deepak, CEO, Seedlings Group of Schools, Udaipur. Dr. Neeru Pathak, Principal, Delhi Public School, Ajmer. Mrs. Indra Singh, Principal, Vivek Techno School, Jaipur. Mrs. Tapti Chatterjee, Executive Director, Modern Public School, Bhiwadi and Noida. And thank you, ma'am, for keeping the time track. Dr. Sapna Agarwal, Director, VKV Edge Academy, Kota. Sorry, Edge Academy, Kota. And Dr. Vasudha Neelmani, Principal, Rockwood International, Udaipur.
I'll just drop that.
What happened? That's not done. That's not done. I signed with her because she's a moderator, so am I can throw these two.
मैं जा रही हूँ.
We're going to print a very special one for you. And now we have the moderator for the day, Ms. Rama Mahuri, Content Head, Next Education. Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you the complete panel, and also to the audience who've been really, really patient, specifically with me coming and showing my face yet again and again.
Simon says group photograph.
Yes, we shall have that as well.
Before the award. Simon says group photograph. Award in any case.
So now I would like to again call upon Ms. Rama Mahuri for with her knowledge talk on the next education.
Hello everyone. Are you all with me?
Yes, that's your hands.
If you're with me, say hooray. Hooray. If you're with me, say hooray twice. Hooray. If you're with me, say hooray thrice. Hooray. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I will not bore you so much with what we do. Just 5 minutes. I think most of you know what next education is. So we are a 14-year-old company, and we are into providing education technology solutions to schools. Along with that, we also partner with schools for their curriculum solutions. When I say curriculum solutions, unlike any other publishing house, we are a curriculum solution company, and we have curriculum from pre-primary to grade 5. I would be talking about what we have in store for exclusively pre-primary. So I think all of us have pre-primary in our schools, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you are looking for a curriculum for pre-primary, what should that have? We'll start with Mark. What would you look into in a pre-primary curriculum for your school?
The basic skills that we need to teach a child and equip the children with.
Okay, ma'am, if you can add what component, probably something like books or I mean,
It should be an activity based,
Okay.
so that the children can relate to.
Great.
And they can grow with it.
Okay.
And the concept comes later. First, they have to be immersed in something learning. They should be engaged in learning. They should not be scared of learning. And they should be open to learning.
Okay, great, ma'am. Great. So can somebody tell me, if at all, if you're partnering with a curriculum company like us, what would you want for your teachers? For your teachers? Training. Training. Oh, great. And what kind of technology you look for your kids, especially the younger ones? With technology from our children's lives, is going to stay.
Some
So if at all,
technology with augmented reality. Augmented reality.
technology with augmented reality. Awesome. And thing from the school side, I mean, as a management, as a head of the school, what do you think that you need from a company like us? Apart from
An organized curriculum.
an organized curriculum, yes, ma'am.
Fun-filled activity.
Debate. Debate. Now I think you have to. I'll put my hands up.
Post-pandemic, now, I've been with Next Education for 5+ years.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm still with them. I mean, indirectly, not close. But when you say we prepared, of course, the patient is there. But she was asking all the questions. My hand was going up for all because I know all the answers.
I think I will just not take much, but your primer wonderful content and the digital base, I think all of us are aware about.
Okay. So I think sir summed it up for me. So we have a curriculum where for pre-primary we have some components for students, some for teachers, and some for school management. So when I say school management, we have wonderful digital component which comes apart, along with the curriculum. So school doesn't rely or need not rely or pay extra for the digital content. And at the same time, we handhold the teachers completely throughout the year. And at the same time, when it comes to children's components, we have very nice augmented reality modules for children, and we also have completely, interactive ebooks. When I say interactive ebooks, the kind of worksheets they see in a hard copy, the same thing they see on their screen, they can actually interact. If it is tick the letter A, they'll be able to tick the letter A there on the digital screen. So that is the kind of work that we have put at Next Education. So I think we have a store outside. I'll not take much of your time. We are running short of time. Thank you so much. Please visit. Yes, sir.
Good evening. Thank you very much. A humble grass cutter has been enriched this evening. I'm from the pilot school and also an ex-engineer. Great, you must be wondering. My one humble suggestion to you is that the selection of ideas, it should be compulsorily be given to the government. So once the government is brought into focus, our efforts will go away.
Thank you. Thank you. I would like to end my session. Energizer, you want to join with me? Yeah. We'll do a pair energizer now, right? We're doing it. So can you pair a partner and stand?
I don't know who to pair.
Anybody, ma'am. Close your eyes and just raise your hand. No, ma'am. Two only. Only two. Hoga, madam. One can join me.
बैठना है खड़े होना है बैठना है खड़े होना है
Stand up, ma'am. Stand up, and you have to stand up. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to give you a couple of hints, right? I'll show you a couple of actions. When I say double, you're supposed to do this. This is double. This is this. Your right hand to your partner's right hand. This. And this is that. That. Your left hand to your partner's left hand is that. And the right hand to your partner's right hand is this. Now I'll be singing a rhyme, which has only these three words. But there is nothing.
the action and first round, second round will sing and do the action. Right? You are doing double, double. Double, double. This. Double, double. Ready now?
Motor skill learning, right? Finger dexterity. Okay, girls, now don't get excited.
Thank you.
Look at them.
Quickly. This, double, double, that, double this, double that, double, this, that. Succeed.
So I think that is what.
Thank you so much.
What a young child goes through when you give them multiple instructions and ask them to retain and remember every instruction. Thank you so much for being so cooperative and making this event so interactive as well. And now definitely quickly coming to the most awaited part of the day, as the appreciation is what keeps us going. So after thanking Ms. Rama ma'am and Anuj sir for doing the honors, now we bring to you the Rishihood Award for Exemplary Edu Leader amidst COVID times. So to give away the first set of awards, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Hemant Sharma, Joint Director and Head Admissions and Marketing, Rishihood University. Sir, please. And we also have a book by Mr. Ashok Vaid here, sir. And that will be given to the candidates who are out of stage. The others we will be sending it soon. So first and foremost, I would like to call upon stage Ms. Ragini Kachwala. May I have Ragini, ma'am, Principal, Lucky International School, Jodhpur. Let's have a big round of applause.
You are awarding me, no? I want it from you. You said sari with a pocket.
Very well on.
No, ma'am. We actually we have two people leaving for outer station, so we had kind of asked this.
Is there something specific about the awards? Otherwise, I can see a lot of gender bias. Nobody wants the men. So that. What did you say? No, Deepak sir. Hardeep sir, you played this, that.
Don't blame me again.
We also have the video sent by the award winners, which we will be also playing once we have given the awards. Congratulations, ma'am. Next, we have Ms. Karuna Yadav, Principal, KGB School, Jaipur. After Karuna, ma'am, we will have Dr. Neeru Pathak, followed by Ms. Tapti Chatterjee, ma'am. To give away the honors, we also have Ms. Manika Walia, Professor and Founding Dean, School of Creativity, Rishihood University, with us on stage. Thank you so much, ma'am. Next up, we have Dr. Neeru Pathak, Principal, DPS Ajmer. Next, we have Ms. Tapti Chatterjee, ma'am, from Executive Director, Modern Public School, Bhiwadi and Noida. Let us have a big round of applause, please. We know we all are tired. Next, may I request Mrs. Archana S. Mankotia, Principal, MGD Girls School, Jaipur. We will be having a group photograph after this, and we do have stall and refreshment. So those who still want to stay back and explore, please do so. So we have Ms. Archana Mankotia, Principal, MGD Girls School, Jaipur.
Harsha ma'am, it's not me.
Do write comments on Amazon. It is available on Amazon.
Next up, we have Father Edward Oliveira, who has, I think, left for the day. And we have Dr. Sunita Vashishta, Principal, Maheshwari Girls Public School, Jaipur. Sunita ma'am is also left? Okay. Then we have Mr. Rajkumar Sharma, Principal, Nimawat International School, Jaipur. Mr. Rajkumar Sharma. I would also like to call upon Mr. Ashok Vaid to kindly come up on the stage because we would like you to hand over the book yourself.
एक कदम पीछे
Next we have Mr. Bhanu Pratap, Principal, Delhi World Public School, Ajmer.
Sir.
After Bhanu Pratap, sir. We have Urvashi Varman, ma'am, who is not keeping well and has not been able to join us. Do we have anybody in our place to come and take the front? We have Mrs. Urvashi Varman, Principal, the Palace School, Jaipur, and we have a representative on behalf of her. Next we have Mr. Umesh Sharma, Founder Director, SRM International School, Jaipur. So I'm going to the names first. You can definitely give the phones to your friends for that picture. Mr. Umesh Sharma, Founder Director, SRM International School, Udaipur. Next, we have Mr. Ashok Ved, Principal, Maheshwari Public School, Jaipur. Next, we have Ms. Beetu Sharma, Principal, Edvent Public School, Jaipur. Ms. Beetu Sharma will be followed by Ms. Archana Singh, Principal, MPS International, Jaipur. Let's do a big round of applause. I know we all want to leave, but let's make this memorable one. Ms. Archana Singh, Principal, MPS International, Jaipur. Next, we have Mr. Amit Kumar Sharma, Principal, Maheshwari Public School, Kota. We have Mr. Amit Kumar Sharma, Principal, Maheshwari Public School, Kota. Mr. D.K. Gupta, Principal, DKV Rishabh Dev. Next, may I call upon Mr. D.K. Gupta, Principal, DKV Rishabh Dev. Then we have Dr. P.S. Vora, CU and Principal, Bhavna School, Bikaner. Bikaner happens to be my middle. Okay, I can take it for him and take it to my Nanyal. Next, we have Ms. Pratima Sharma, Principal, BVV Vidyashram, Jaipur. To facilitate all the awardees, we also have amongst us Taranjit Singh Manku, Manager, Admissions and Marketing, Rishikut University. Next, we have Ms. Rita Taneja, Principal, Delhi Public School, Jaipur. Ms. Rita Taneja, Principal, Delhi Public School, Jaipur. Next, we have Ms. Kamaljeet Yadav, Principal, Support Public School, Jaipur. Ms. Kamaljeet Yadav. तालियां बजती रहनी चाहिए. It means good. Next, we have Mr. Deepak Sharma, Director, Rockwood School, Udaipur. Mr. Deepak Sharma, Director, Rockwood School, Udaipur. Next up, we have Ms. Karuna Suresh, Principal Consultant, Central Academy Group of Schools, Jaipur, which has been my alpha mater also. Ms. Aruna Suresh, Principal Consultant, Central Academy, Group of Schools, Jaipur. Next, we have Ms. Shifali Charan, Principal, Asian World School, Jaipur.
Karuna ma'am, you too good and precise.
Ms. Shifali Charan, Principal, Asian World School, Jaipur. Next up, we have Dr. Sapna Agarwal, Director, Academics, Edge Academy, Kota.
Actually, you both can't fit together.
Dr. Sapna Agarwal, Director, Academy, Edge Academy, Kota. Next up, I request Mr. Hardeep Bakshi, CEO, Seedlings, Group of Schools, Udaipur. Mr. Hardeep Bakshi, CEO, Seedling Groups of Schools, Udaipur. Next up, we have Ms. Indra Singh, Principal, Vivek Techno School, Jaipur. Ms. Indra Singh, Principal, Vivek Techno School, Jaipur. And yes, last in just the sequence, but not in any other manner, please, let's put our hands together for the last awardee, which is Miss Sumita P. Venhas, Principal, Pudar World School, Jaipur. Ms. Sumita P. Venhas, Principal, Pudar World School, Jaipur. Let's hear it loud for her. Also join me in thanking the presenters for the award. We had Mr. Hemant Sharma. We have Taranjeet Singh Manku, Manager, Admissions and Marketing, Nishikut University, and Pankaj Sharma, and our own Mr. Sunny Lalwani. And now over to Sunny for the thank you.
I would request Mr. Hemant to felicitate or ma'am also for a wonderful show today. Indeed, it has been an incredible day full of learning and sharing.
Very well.
I'm sure it would have not been possible without all of your support. So thank you so much from bottom of our heart. And we will request everyone to please step forward for one group photograph so that we can change this briefs. Yes, ma'am. And I would also request Mr. Hemant to felicitate Mr. Pankaj, who's the brain behind GSLC. And what we say basically, we never say goodbye. We say we'll see you again. The new place.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Indeed, a lovely day, and what better, to have met some known faces, have revived the old relationships. Nothing better than again being back to MGT. So thank you so much, Sharma. Last but not least, the people who are behind the show, the volunteers. I mean, we couldn't have done it without you. A huge round of applause to all these young volunteers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. And as we all gather for the group photograph, I will take this opportunity to kind of sum it up, and I will request you all kindly gather for the photograph. Just keep listening to whatever I am saying and keep gathering up for the photograph. So Astoma Sadagamaya, Tamsurma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. मुझे असत्य से सत्य की ओर ले चलो, अंधेरे से उजाले की ओर ले चलो, मृत्यु से अमरता की ओर ले चलो. This is what a learner wishes when he or she hands over self to the educator in the form of teachers and school. Education is not a one-way process, neither is learning. And with changing times, the role, the importance, the figure, the methodology has changed too. So let us adapt the change. And my biggest takeaway from today will be deriving the full form of Gslc, the values that are imperative to education. G signifies gratitude, S simplicity, L love, and C compassion, which paves the way for inclusion, which is not only in relation to physical or neurological special abilities, but in the form of gender, sexual orientation, race, color, demography, physical appearance, and economic status too. And thank you so much, everybody. With this, I shall join the group photograph as well.
No, live with the money. Okay, yes, smile, all of you, smile, good. Wait. All of you say money. Say money. Okay, say honey. Thank you.
And I request you all to kindly proceed towards the refreshment. We'll request you all to kindly have a high tea with us. And also, as we go there, please kindly have a look at all the stalls put. We have highly arranged the same where we had our first break. Also explore all the stalls that we have here. Our knowledge partners have really put in a lot of efforts, so we should explore it to the fullest. Thank you so much.